This is the introduction to the building fabric of a passive house standard building built with timber frame. There are 5 principles to the passive house standard, and the first principle of the passive house standard is super insulation. We can see here by looking at the roof, wall and floor the significant amount of insulation that's in this cutout. It's approximately 50% more than a conventional building. The second principle of passive house involves thermal bridging. So thermal bridge is a point or a junction in the building which heat loss occurs due to weaknesses in the detail. With the passive house standard, special care and attention is given to these junctions, and there is significant detailing that occurs at the design stage to producing a detail that is constructed on site that reduces this heat loss in contrast to a conventional building. The third principle of the passive house standard is the windows and the orientation of the building. With the orientation, the aim of the standard is to optimize glazing to the south side. And with the windows are now typically triple glazed with insulation within the frame, as we can see here. The installation is also enhanced in that there are special details that are put in place for the construction on site and the installation on site of the windows. The fourth principle of the passive house standard is air tightness. The criteria for air tightness is 0.6 air changes per hour as tested by a blower door at 50 pascals. We can see here in this cutout, as is timber frame, where we have the air tightness detailing and the air tightness membrane and taping at various junctions. This is very typical for a timber frame construction built to the passive house standard. And finally, the fifth principle of the passive house standard is mechanical heat recovery ventilation. We'll talk more about this in a later video, but when we have the 4 principles that have been mentioned so far, the air tightness, the super insulation, the thermal bridging and the windows, these all combine to help make the mechanical heat recovery unit work at its best and get its efficiency.